Hello and welcome to Joy News today. Coming up, Ghana ranked 82nd out of 113 countries in latest Global Food Security Index by London-based The Economics magazine. More from the experts on its implications. Also, security expert Professor Kwesi Enin calls for a rigorous regulation of the production and transportation of guns across the country to reduce the seeming surge in gun-related crimes.
Get access to all types of guns, including military-grade guns. Then it means that Ghana has created a fertile ground both for the acquisition of the necessary tools for violent attacks, but also for resupply and supply networks.
And chiefs and people of Drobo in the Ahafo region back passage of the Anti-LGBTQ plus bill before Parliament as they charge their MP to ensure he represents their stance or face their wrath in the 2024 general election.
That he is to carry on with what we have sent him to do. This is what Drobomai wants him to do. If he goes to do contrary, then it means he has lost faith in us, and we also lose faith in him. And come the next elections, we will decide.
And on Drive Safe campaign, we bring excerpts of the consultative forum on road traffic crashes and review of the Road Traffic Regulations Act. We've got details of these stories, plus business, sports, world news, and show business, all coming up in this package. My name is Mama Swabwadi. Thanks for being with us. Now, over 2,000 lives have been lost in road accidents from January to September 2021. This is according to the Motor Transport and Traffic Directorate of the Ghana Police Service. The crashes involved some 20,000 vehicles, leaving over 11,000 persons injured. Director of Operations at the Police MTTD, Superintendent Dr. Sasu Mensah, describes the numbers as staggering and worrying. He was speaking at the ongoing consultative forum on road traffic crashes and review of the road traffic regulations. Let's take you live for some excerpts of that forum, which is still ongoing.
You will never find him. You will tell him that come to office to come and look for me. So there must be a way to check the license and give it back. Well, I think that my own position on this matter is that it's as simple as that. We must do the technology that will enable the policeman check the license and give it back. If it is not genuine, then the consequences, you bear it. Yeah. I have said something that even if you pass the law today, the implementation will take about 6 months or 1 year, or maybe 2. So in the meantime, we will go by the old system until such a time that, but you must give us, you see, if we don't give ourselves time, if we don't force ourselves, you will never change. GVLA say they have the device. Now they are integrating it with the police. They are piloting it now. DVLA is now piloting it now. If any policeman who has the system stops you, you will just cross-check and find out that this number is with DVLA or not. So why can't you check with Lances? So we should be able to do it. But you must challenge ourselves, give ourselves time. Not that we pass the law and go and put it on our shelves as has been in this country. No. There must be a way to implement this particular thing. I will not bring everybody into this room to just come and make law and go and put it on the shelf. No, it will not happen.
Hello. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Yes, please, my question is there a possibility where without carrying your driver's license, a driver can go, and if you have a scanned copy of it or a picture of it, it can be verified and be used. Because mostly when the police seizes your license, it takes a very long period to retrieve it. So if there's any other means of changing that, where you can, instead of giving them your license, you can give them a copy or another means, something different than them they taking it and not giving it back to you until further notice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello? Can you hear me? You see, we want improvement in our system. We don't want to go back as usual. Give people discretion and opportunities to misbehave. The point is, government must also be up and doing. We should put in place a system to enable the police to check the license there and give it back to the person. That is what I'm saying. And I'm saying that DVLA is now piloting the program. When we pass the law today, it's not going to, the implementation will not be done tomorrow. We need to give ourselves time. That's what I'm looking at. I thought that you were going to say, oh, maybe if you are able to pass the law in 6 months' time, we should do full implementation. Let us, because this thing, we have done it over and over and over, and it's not helping us. I'm saying that you must put in place a system to enable us to check the license there and give it back to the person. I don't see the reason why, if you are going to your farm, you leave your cutlass in the house, and you said that you put your cutlass on the paper, measure, you draw it. You go, somebody meets you on the road, you say that this is the cutlass I have, but this is a prototype. I have left the cutlass now. Put your lances in your wallet. The police, let's make it in such a way that they will not take it away from you. Let's put in place a system to check the lances there and give it back to you. And that's the way that I would prefer that we go, rather than give you the discretion to go and draw your lances in the paper, on the paper, give it to the policeman, who will also take it and say, come and meet me. Put your lances in your wallet. Let's bring a law. Let's bring the technology that will enable the police to check it there and give it to you. Yes.
At the previous forum, the police said that they are going to discard the 24-hour ultimatum. They will instantly seize the car if we couldn't produce the, what is called, the license. And we on the commercial are asking, if there are passengers in the car, what happens to the passengers? All right, but I'm saying, in the previous meeting, the police said that if the driver did not produce the license immediately, he is not going to allow him that 24 hours, because they are going to discard the 24-hour ultimatum. And we on the commercial side are asking that, for instance, if there are passengers in the car, what happens to them if he seizes the car? Because that was what he said at the previous forum.
I wasn't there. My understanding is that police is not above. The police is not above the law. As it is now, the law says that 24 hours. Is that not what the law says? And the law does not say 24 hours. What does the law say? I want to know. Okay. Okay.
There is a caveat. The law has not said 24 hours. It said may. May normally is discretionary. It depends on what the police officer at that point thinks, whether it is feasible or not feasible. So the law does not explicitly say that it is 24 hours. But with the issue of licensing in relation to enforcement, what we have realized is that normally when we go to the routes, everybody who is driving on our routes, when the law says that if you are a driver and you are driving on our routes, the police has the power to stop you and ask you of your driver's license. And you are supposed to produce it immediately. But normally, when it's practicality. When we go to, everybody will say that my license is at home. my license is. You see, you go on a Sunday and go and do road checks. Those who you see doesn't allow them to drive a vehicle. They will say, we ask them, they say my license is at home. This one you say that it's very obvious that the person has no driver's license, but the person is making flimsy excuses that license, but my license is in the house. That is the problems we are facing as a police institution, as an enforcement institution. So we think that we should deal with the problem now. Not, for instance, if you acquire a visa and you are traveling outside, they ask you of your license. You say that your license is at home. Your passport, you say is at home, or you are photocopying your passport, or you put your passport on your mobile phone. Is it acceptable? Is that thing acceptable? How would? So that is why we think it should go. You should have the opportunity to produce it immediately, so that we can check incidences where people are saying where people don't have driver's license, but yet they are saying their license is at home.
Yeah. Midday, I'm very happy. Midday said, when now, but why are so ya? At the end of the day, we are trusting the young. The police don't trust the drivers. The drivers don't trust the police. The only means we can do to solve this problem is use technology, which is where any rocket science is done all over the world. America, UK, everywhere, even South Africa. I went to South Africa. The guy who was driving it, the police just stopped him. He just parked. Let me see your license. Give it to you. He pulled his phone from his pocket. Just papa. He said, go. DVLA has started it. The law as it is now, the police are interpreting. They say, May, you and the two of us, the only thing you can do is to go to court and go and challenge the word May, how it can be interpreted. But we have an opportunity today to change that law. Let us not give discretion to anybody. The mistrust is not allowing to give to anybody. So let's bring in a law and challenge ourselves that the police must have technology. Why are you worried? You are saying that the police must have a technology. Take your license there, check your license and give it back to you. If he doesn't have the technology, he does not have the power to take your license away.
And that's the Transport Minister speaking at a consultative forum, which is still ongoing. Now, Ghana has been ranked 82 out of 113 countries on the latest Global Food Security Index published by London-based The Economist magazine on Tuesday. The annual index ranks countries based on affordability, availability, as well as quality and safety of food. Ghana scored an overall mark of 52 out of 100 on the Global Food Security Index. On availability of food, Ghana scored 48.6 out of 100, whilst on affordability, the country scored 60 points out of 100. Countries like Sri Lanka, Mali, and Pakistan performed better than Ghana on the index, which reported Ireland as the world's most food-secured country, followed by Australia and then the UK. On the African continent, Ghana placed 4th on the ranking out of 28 African countries with reported scores. Now, take a look at what's on the screen representing the first place, the second placed country, the third, and Ghana being marked as 82nd. Well, CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Agribusiness, in sub-Saharan Africa, you see the South Africa being ranked first, followed by Botswana, second, Mali, and then Ghana being ranked 4th in sub-Saharan Africa. Is the Global Food Security Index. We're ranked 82nd in the world, and in sub-Saharan Africa, were fourth on the list. Well, CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Agribusiness, Anthony S.K. Morrison, has been speaking with my colleague Joseph Opoku Gapo, and also the Director of Programs of Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Charles Nyaba. They've all been reacting to this latest report. They spoke with Israel Lai.
Eventually, when you look at the entire ranking, out of 113 countries, came 82nd. Ghana was 82nd out of 113 countries. So when you do the mathematics, we did better than just about 30 different countries on the continent. And as the indication has been given, a number of other countries like Sri Lanka and Mali did far better than us. But just to again put it in proper perspective, I just pulled up the index from 2019, just 2 years ago. So this index that was just published covers 2021, presumably a year ago, ending 2021, 2 days ago. And then there was the ranking that was published in 2020, and there was the ranking that was published in 2019. Every year is done, and this is actually the 10th year that is being published. And I put out the 2019 ranking, and guess what? Ghana actually came 59th out of the 113 countries that was actually ranked. So on the ranking itself, Ghana has dropped from the 59th position to the 82nd position within 2 years. Within 2 years.
But how about the score itself, Joseph?
So the score itself, the overall score in 2019, Ghana got an overall score of, let me just pull that out very quickly. Ghana 59th position. Ghana scored overall 62.8 when it comes to the general index. That was the overall score that we scored back in 2019. You compare that with the ranking that we got this year, even as our figures actually dropped, they're seeing a situation where still out of the scoring of 100, then Ghana is scoring 60 out of the 100.
Food security in the country is gradually declining, and I'm a little bit taken aback with some of the data that the Global Food Index is showing. I think that we need to look at it very much deeper. But I was happy with one indicator, which is commitment to our food policy. And I think that is where we need to look at the change from. Are we committed? Because there are already existing food policies that we should have been more committed to, rather than pushing for planting for food and jobs. Because what we have ended up doing is to set aside the FASDEP and the METASIP. All these were making progress, and we've brought in a policy that has become more like a program, and we are really not seeing the impact. Food prices have gone up. Egg prices have shot up right now. I mean, we used to buy one single egg at 80 pesos. Now it's being sold for 120 pesos or so. So we need to, as a matter of fact, be more strategic. The coming years look very, very dire on us because, for instance, Yara have closed most of their production sites in Europe. Just yesterday in England, for instance, 2 of the factories said because of the cost of rising cost of production due to energy, they will reduce production. In China, which has one of the major factories that produces fertilizer, they have cut down on some of their production sites. So we now look to study the trend globally, and can think within our industry what we can do better. Look at contextualizing our agrochemical production, the seeds, intensify seeds production among the seed breeders, and also look at silos, food storage.
I'll first of all advise the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to take politics out of agriculture investment programs.
All right.
The One Village, One Dam project that was introduced by the MPP government, to me, I think it was a fantastic concept. But when it came to the implementation, it became purely a political tool to reward politicians for working with the party.
So one
when you look at
irrigation is great. Irrigation is one of the
irrigation
things
we
you're
need to
talking
look
about.
at. Yeah, mechanization. Mechanization is something that we've not been able to do well. On the field, rice is ready for harvesting. Farmers don't have combined harvesters. Everybody is running helter-skelter to see where we get those combined harvesters to harvest. Soya beans, the land is dry, there's no rain, and people still use hands to uproot the soya plants before they use sticks to trash them. We shouldn't be doing that and expect to actually be food self-sufficient. We need to also look at the inputs, just like Farmer Morrison said. This season, farmers were buying a bag of 50 kg bag of fertilizer for 230 Ghana cedis, instead of 112 cedis, 120 cedis last year. And nothing is being done. Government did well for coming out with the subsidy program. Fertilizer companies supply fertilizer. As we speak, we all heard from the Minister of Food and Agri when he met parliamentarians that they are paid fertilizer companies for what was supplied 2020. Up to date, I've spoken to most of the companies, and they haven't received any money. I think the Minister of Finance is not helping in this cause.
All right.
It appears Minister of Food and Agriculture have their policy, which is not being supported by Minister of Finance. So Minister of Food and Agriculture said, oh, we are doing this. But it gets to Minister of Finance and nothing is being done. Now, the last one has to do with provision of, using technology to be able to disseminate information to address our issues. As we speak, when you go to MOFA, Ministry of Food and Agriculture, to provide you data of the number of rice farmers, maize farmers, cassava farmers, yam farmers, or even smallholder farmers in general in Ghana, they will not be able to provide such information. So if you are coming out with a policy which is targeting, addressing concerns of these groups of farmers.
Now, Director of the Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Professor Kwesi Enin, says Ghana should be worried about the increasing gun-related crimes that sometimes claim lives. He says the production and the transportation of guns across the country requires rigorous regulation by state authorities. Speaking at a 3-day dialogue on ascertaining vulnerabilities and resilience in peace infrastructures in West Africa, Professor Enin also indicated the menace of vigilantes is far from over because such characters have transitioned into different forms and still perpetrating violence. Here's Richard Kojanyako's report.
Professor Kwesi Enin says the dialogue fits into the larger mission and vision of the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center to contribute to creating peace and stable environment in Ghana and the West African sub-region. The workshop would focus on the set of development that can undermine Ghana's peace, the kind of structures that have been put in place to understand such developments, design appropriate response mechanisms, and ultimately to prevent it from happening. Professor Kwesi Enin was worried about the gun-related crimes in the country.
Already we are beginning to see the outlines. More violent response, more daring crimes, the transition from the use of pump-action guns to military-grade weapons, and increasingly a societal acceptance of the benefits arising out of violence and crime. Almost all the guns used in violence in this country don't come from outside. They come from within. Now, what that means is that we need to ask ourselves some really very difficult questions. That if criminals get access to all types of guns, including military-grade guns, then it means that Ghana has created a fertile ground both for the acquisition of the necessary tools for violent attacks, but also for resupply and supply networks. So we need to understand a couple of very tough interlocking dynamics. First, who are the actors who make these guns available? Who are they? Where are they located? How do they get access to these guns? What are the routes that these guns take? How do you transport guns from, say, Cape Coast to Takoradi, and we don't find out? How do we transport guns from Ghana and elsewhere?
Now, all 44 towns and villages in Drobo, led by the paramount chief Okochridrom Sechiako II, are supporting the Anti-LGBTQI+ bill currently before Parliament. They describe the practice as alien and unacceptable with their traditions and culture. Addressing the media at Drobo after a meeting with the chiefs and town leaders on the bill, Okochridrom Sechiako II also issued a warning to the Member of Parliament in the area to represent their interests, else they will lose faith in him in the 2024 elections. Here's Precious Semovo's report.
The Drobo State meets every quarter to deliberate on issues of concern, but key on the agenda on Tuesday was the Anti-LGBTQ+ bill, with chiefs, assembly members, youth leaders, and identifiable groups from the 14 towns and villages in Drobo. The people have unanimously expressed their support to the bill in Parliament, which would curtail the activities of the LGBTQ community because it is against their faith. They have also warned their MP William Sokofo-Date to ensure their position manifest during their deliberations in Parliament, else they will reject him in the next election. Okochridrom Sechiako II, the paramount chief of Drobo, spoke to the media after the meeting.
We cannot allow our culture to be derailed by this. It is purely alien to us. It is not in our culture, our religious beliefs to practice such things. So we are unanimously pledging that Droboman is in support of the anti-LGBTI bill. It should be passed, and we are watching out. We have warned our parliamentarian that he is to carry on with what we have sent him to do. This is what Droboman wants him to do. If he goes to do contrary, then it means he has lost faith in us, and we also lose faith in him. And come the next elections, we will decide on this.
He, however, said they have their way of cleansing people who commit what he called abominable acts.
We believe traditionally that if we commit such abominable offenses, it is against the earth, God, and it is against our ancestors. So we don't take it kindly. I have told all my Adikro and other chiefs that should they get evidence that somebody is engaged in this, they must let Nananum hear, and the right rituals will be performed to cleanse the land, the ancestry, God, and then he, the offender himself.
Queen Mother of Farmer Nana Ekuafeka II believes parents must get involved and educate the children of their cultural norms.
I think that as a Queen Mother, we should all come together as one so that we train our children, we talk to them to understand our norms, our traditions, and our culture. Because our children, what they see on the internet is what they are learning. They are digital. We don't wait for them to grow so that the whites or other people from elsewhere will come and pollute them that a male should marry a male or a female should marry a female.
Precious Semevo, Joy News, Drobo.
We head now to the Ashanti region. Police have begun investigations into the killing of 3 persons in Wawasi, a farming community in the Efija Kwabre South districts of the region. A 47-year-old man is alleged to have killed his friend, claiming he saw him having an affair with his fiancée in a dream. He later allegedly stabbed and killed his grandfather and another elderly man a day after residents retrieved the body of the first victim. Ohim Interior of our security desk has been following the story and has filed this report.
The Wawasi community is in grief following the alleged murder of 3 men within the space of 2 days by the Palm 1 tapper. The deceased have been identified as Kwesi Banahini, 47 years, Kwabran Kruma, 84 years, and Kwame Kwachi, 86 years. With the exception of Banahini, whose body was retrieved in the bush, the 2 other victims died at the hospital. Residents are shocked over the motive of the murder. Eduse is said to have told residents he killed Banahini because he saw him dating his fiancée in his dream. He claims he killed Opening Kwabena Nkrumah because he had married his wife off to another man and sees his manhood spiritually. Shockingly, he told police in his caution statement he killed Opening Kwachi, a retired teacher under the influence of alcohol. Assemblyman for Wawasi electoral area, Andrews Mensah, says the community is in shock and grief.
Na wo bi a wo nsia sese ya da ya je obema sesi a me no ka de se otimi koye na dwuma ya wo na yire na ne ma no etimi bana na yire no efiri ne nche koy enti dwuma ha de se be won pa no ndi mintimi sisu gina se o ha dwuma ha sese de amakuru na ankasa no ya bo nyinya sese kura no e de hu kase abeto yeso.
Families of the victims are counting their losses. Opening Kwachi was resting on a wooden bench when he was inflicted with machete wounds by the neighbor next door. His sons, Ransford Dako and Prince Asmenin, say their father was attacked without any provocation.
One can be answered be on any diano baby cranson or esa or buy an to say so. Me tricano, and hear me papa said they would see bleedy pum na funo Mentimin Angaza, Copmisia Dinrao, Sabende, Nani, hear me and say, Papa, back to life. Papa,
we are mourning our father, our grandfather, our everything. My father has done a lot for me. I call him my father because he take care of me. He gave me life. There's nothing much that I can say about my father. He has done a lot for me. He has made me who am I today. And it's so pathetic.
Meanwhile, the Mampontin District Court has remanded the suspect into police custody to reappear on November 8, 2021, after appearing in court on provisional murder charges. From Wawasi, for Joy News, Ohim Interior reporting.
We're still staying in the Ashanti region. A two-story maternity ward is being constructed to help ease congestion at the Menchia Government Hospital in Kumasi. The 440,000 cedi project is jointly funded by the Otumfuo Setutu Foundation and Joburg Foundation, a charity organization. This follows a Love News report detailing extreme congestion at the maternity ward with women in labor sleeping on the floor.
On the bare floor.
This video, shot in late 2019, documents the huge congestion at the maternity ward of the Menchia Hospital. Its contents showing a ward full with mothers on admission sleeping on the bare floor have generated huge public outcry and discussion.
The situation we check on the ground indicates that the congestion and the issue of space is still a reality here on the ground.
These maternity wards, the largest the size of an office canteen, hold a maximum of 9 beds each. They are all full most of the time, with mothers either expecting or delivered of their babies. After this report, the Menchia Palace has responded. Otumfuo's Hiahine and board chair of the King's Foundation, Nana Professor Oheneba Boache, cut sword for work to begin on a 2-story expansion of the maternity ward.
And we are familiar with the recent social media postings about how mothers and babies lying on the bare floor. This caught the attention of His Royal Majesty. We heard that the ward has 16 beds. I thought it was more than that. And 16 beds for the number of care that is being delivered, considering the vision to become a center of excellence in the provision of quality primary health care is not enough. Thank God, partnering with Joburg, we are going to add 30 more beds.
When completed, the facility is expected to increase the capacity of the Menchia maternity ward from the current 16 to 46 beds for a hospital which does 80 deliveries a week. Dr. Kamaruddin Koku Hussein is medical superintendent for the Menchia Government Hospital.
The expansion of the maternity unit will be a great asset to the Menchia Government Hospital. It will also ensure dignity of our women before, during, and after childbirth. As we have seen, many of our wives and women sleep on the floor as a result of the congestion.
The Joburg Foundation has sponsored the construction of a dressmaking center in Navrongo and a COVID center for residents of Englishi Amanfrom. President of the foundation, Joseph Magmos Mate, speaks on outlook for its third project, the Menchia Maternity Ward.
So we are just going to build a ground floor and the first floor and then put in the space for them to be able to expand to at least about 30 beds more.
What was the cost going to be?
440,000 Ghana cedis.
You had the Erastus Asari Donkos report, and on that note, we take a breather. We'll return with business with Darryl Kwao.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Eslo Sekufo, has told Joy Business that the calls for inclusion of the national passport and other forms of ID for the ongoing SIM card re-registration is being looked at. According to her, the new law under which the exercise is being undertaken specifies the kind of identification to be used, but the ministry is engaging stakeholders on the matter. Since the beginning of the exercise last week, there have been calls for government to include other forms of ID as requirements for the registration. Eslo Sekufo says the outcome of discussions will soon be made known.
I do have some numbers, but it's still ongoing and it is going well. A few challenges have already been noticed and they're working as a sector to address them. Some of them being, what happens to Ghanaians who have SIM cards but who will not be in the country during that period. So they're working to see how the SIM registration app can be utilized for that purpose. There's also been some talk about the use of passports. Our reading of the law makes it mandatory for the national Ghana card to be the sole card used for verification of identity. So it puts us in a bit of a bind, but let's see how it goes. So if you don't have a Ghana card, just get one.
Now, the Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation Company Limited boss says it would reshuffle its workers as part of measures to curb incidents of adulteration. A driver has been arrested and 9 vehicles impounded in connection with fuel adulteration at the Kumasi depot. 8 other drivers are still at large. Management says the police are currently investigating circumstances leading to the incident. Here's Managing Director Boss Edwin Provençal.
Normally in our operations, when the drivers come into our terminal to load, we test the products and we load them. Then the moment they leave our facility, the responsibility of the product is transferred from boss to the transport owner, who has to ensure that the product gets to its destination safely. They are paid for the transportation. The moment the product gets into Bost, Kumasi, it is transferred to us again. So we believe strongly, and I'm sure the investigations will reveal it as well, that the adulteration happened when we handed over the product to the transport owner, who is represented by the driver. Because the cars are also sealed by NPA. And any time there is a tampering of the seal NPA gets a notification. So between the regulator and the transport owner, they take responsibility, and the regulator monitors, the transport owner takes responsibility till the final destination. So this was done outside, bust. That is why when it got here and we tested it again, we saw that no, this product was of a different density, and so something had been done. We also realized that the color of the product had changed, and that is what prompted, that raised the alarm and got our people to call in the authorities to bring us where we are today. The products have been impounded, and all the night trucks are in one location. The police have come to see them, NPA have come to see them, and so yes, the products haven't found their way onto the market. So the public should be rest assured. We are enhancing the SOPs. What we are also trying to do is we are trying to transfer our staff across our depots. You know, when you stay in one place for a long time, you get too comfortable. And so these are some of the internal decisions we'll be taking in the near future, where our staff will be moved across our depots and then strengthening the processes as well.
And that's the latest in business. There's more coming up at the top of the hour on the marketplace. We have the latest inflation numbers. Do tune in. Sports is up next.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the sports segment with me, Ore Kuampa. For Black Stars head coach Milovan Rajevac says winning matches is the most important thing and is rather better than playing well sometimes. Now, speaking after the senior national team's 1-0 win over Zimbabwe on Tuesday, the Serbian said he is excited to have got maximum points despite spending only 5 days with the team at the training ground. There's more in this report. To swimming, where Ghana has won its first medal at the ongoing 14th Ghana African Juniors and Senior Swimming Championships at the Bukom International Arena. Joy Sports' Haruna Mubarak was there and has the details on what happened on day 2.
A couple of countries who are yet to win a medal improved their performances at the Trust Sports Emporium International Pool. But eventually, it was South Africa and Egypt who ran the show. They dominated the juniors category once again. No medal for any of Ghana's 8 juniors who competed. Ghana was on the verge of going another day without a medal until this man, Abeku Jackson, stepped up and delivered in the men's 100-meter butterfly event. Abeku finished the race in the 3rd position with a time of 53.98 seconds.
In his short career, Abeku has won over 30 gold medals for Ghana and represented the country at 2 Olympics, with the recent one being in Tokyo a few months ago, where he topped this race and set a national record of 53.39 seconds, which is why winning the bronze today feels like a defeat for the 21-year-old.
The gold winner, an Algerian, Suad Jawad, who finished the race with a time of 52.89 seconds, was understandably delighted.
Actually, I was pretty happy to race. It's always good to race at the moment of the season. It's just the beginning, but I'm pretty happy about the time. And I hope I'm going to get faster and faster during the season. And also, I wanted to thank all the Ghanaian people because you have a so nice pool. Okay, the weather is a bit warm here, but it's always nice to race in another country in Africa, and I have a lot of respect for you. Guys, thank you very much.
Abeku Jackson is the guy that Ghanaians trust, but you're able to beat him. How did you do that?
Yeah, he was actually pretty fast, and I was a bit stressed to lose against him. And it was a very nice race, and I think at the beginning of the season it means nothing. And I'm sure he's a very good potential, and he will get faster and faster, so that's for me a concurrent, and I have to watch out.
Ghana will be hoping to build on the bronze winning feat for more medals on day 3 of the Games.
That was a report by Joy Sports' Haruna Mubarak. That's how we wrap up the sports here. We'll be back at 2 p.m. to bring you the latest in the world of sports when Sports Today comes your way live here on the Joy News channel.
And that's all in world news. Indeed, that's it for Joy News today. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. On behalf of the production team, we thank you for watching. See you next time.